All right, let's dive into Tom Lee's market predictions.
He's always got some interesting insights as the head of research at Fundstrat, especially when it comes to Bitcoin.
Yeah, he's not afraid to make some bold calls. We'll be looking at his take on the overall market, Bitcoin's future, and a few other things that caught my eye.
Well, he definitely sees the market at an interesting point right now. He's calling it a friction point after these last couple of years of solid gains.
That makes sense when you consider the market's up almost 50% since the start of 2023. I mean, at a certain point, you have to start thinking about the risk-reward balance going forward.
Exactly. It's right. And then you've also got the fact that the election is settled. Now, we don't know exactly what policies will be put in place, but at least there's less uncertainty. That should create more opportunities for growth.
Makes sense. Are there any specific areas he's particularly bullish on?
He's got his eye on small cap stocks. Thinks they're undervalued right now.
That's interesting. Isn't it true that small caps often outperform in the early stages of an economic recovery?
That's the idea. Definitely worth looking into. Now, we can't talk about Tom Lee without talking about Bitcoin.
Right. He's famous for his Bitcoin predictions. So where does he stand now?
He's sticking with his $250,000 target for next year. Still believes in that halving cycle with the supply reduction pushing prices up.
I remember him talking about that before. But didn't he also say there could be a dip before the big surge?
Yeah, he's saying we might see a drop to the $60,000 before it takes off again. The crypto market never sleeps. Always got to be ready for some volatility.
Now, for the prediction that really caught my attention, the U.S. government becoming a Bitcoin whale.
1 million Bitcoin. It's a bold idea.
But he's basing it on the new administration's stance on Bitcoin. They seem to be pretty supportive.
They do. And if that were to happen, think about the implications. It would basically legitimize Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset.
That would be huge. We've already seen companies like MicroStrategy having success with that strategy.
It's a compelling case study for sure. Now, beyond Bitcoin, Lee's also looking at some more unexpected factors that could impact the market.
Oh, like what?
Well, he sees the recent decline in grain prices as a good thing. Could help ease some of those food inflation concerns.
That would be welcome relief for a lot of people.
On the other hand, he's a bit more cautious about AI. Acknowledges the benefits, but also the risks.
The cybersecurity risks.
Exactly. Think about the potential for things like spoofing, fake news, all that. It's a whole new world of challenges.
But isn't that where crypto could actually come in handy? With all its built-in security features.
That's exactly what he's saying. In an AI-driven world, crypto could become even more important. Crypto could be the key to navigating that AI-driven world safely.
It's fascinating to think about. And we were talking about the U.S. potentially holding 1 million Bitcoin.
That would really send a message.
It would shake things up globally, wouldn't it?
Big time. Other countries, central banks, institutional investors, everyone would be watching.
What do you think it would mean for Bitcoin's price?
Well, you have to think it would drive adoption and increase the perceived value.
It would be interesting to see how it affects the U.S. dollar's role as the world's reserve currency.
That's a whole other conversation.
Makes you wonder if we're seeing a shift in financial power as crypto gains traction.
Could be. Now, shifting gears a bit, Lee's also been talking about some interesting moves from China.
What's he seeing there?
He thinks their decision to reduce export tax refunds could be a way to ease those trade tensions with the U.S.
How so?
Basically, it makes Chinese exports more expensive, so there's less need for tariffs.
Ah, I see. That's pretty clever. But he also acknowledges the challenges the U.S. economy is facing, right?
Right, especially when it comes to the national debt. It puts the Fed in a tough spot.
Because they have to support growth while also keeping inflation under control.
It's a balancing act. And Lee emphasizes how important their role is right now in managing market expectations.
So preventing panic and keeping things stable.
Exactly. Their actions and communication have a huge impact on investor confidence.
It's a reminder that the Fed does a lot more than just set interest rates. They shape the entire narrative around the economy.
That's right. Now, on a completely different topic, Lee's also been talking about the future of work and the impact of AI.
That's a hot topic these days.
It is. And while some people see AI as a job killer, Lee sees it differently. He thinks it'll actually lead to a surge in productivity.
Interesting.
He points to the prime age workforce surge. All those millennials and Gen Z coming into their prime earning years. They're tech savvy and ready to embrace the changes AI brings.
So it's not just about job losses. It's about new opportunities being created.
Right. And Lee thinks this will have a big impact on S&P 500 earnings. He's predicting earnings could hit 600 to 650 by 2030.
Wow. And with higher price-to-earnings multiples for tech and AI companies, he's even suggesting the S&P could reach 15,000.
It's a bold prediction, but it shows how much he believes in the transformative power of AI.
I guess you have to acknowledge the potential downsides too, though.
Absolutely. He's particularly concerned about the lack of ethical boundaries in AI development.
It's a bit of a wild west out there.
And that opens the door for bad actors to exploit the technology. Think about AI-powered cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, financial manipulation. It's scary stuff.
So where does crypto fit into all of this?
Well, that's where Lee sees crypto really shining. The decentralized nature and built-in security features make it a powerful tool for mitigating those risks.
Because it's not just about speculation, it's about practical solutions for a digital world.
Exactly. Lee sees crypto becoming increasingly important for securing information, transactions, and even identities.
So you have AI driving innovation, but then you need crypto to manage the risks that come with it.
It's a fascinating convergence of trends, and it's all shaping the future of finance.
So what's Lee's advice for investors trying to make sense of all this?
Well, he's still bullish on AI-related stocks, small caps, financials, industrials, and of course, Bitcoin.
No surprises there. But he also emphasizes the importance of diversification and remembering that markets are cyclical.
Don't chase short-term gains, think long-term. He uses MicroStrategy as an example of what can happen when you identify a winner and hold on.
Their Bitcoin play has certainly paid off for them.
It has. But the key takeaway is to do your research, understand the fundamentals, and have conviction in your decisions. Don't just follow the crowd.
Sound advice. And what about the world of crypto specifically? Any words of wisdom there?
He's still a big believer in Bitcoin. There's been an explosion of altcoins over the years, but he sees Bitcoin as the anchor of any solid crypto strategy.
Makes sense. It's got the track record, the scarcity, the name recognition.
It's the foundation.
It's been a fascinating look at Tom Lee's predictions. He's given us a lot to think about, both in terms of the opportunities and the potential risks.
He definitely has. The main takeaway for me is that we have to stay informed, adaptable, and open to new ideas. This is a time of massive change, and the financial landscape is evolving faster than ever.
We can't just stick our heads in the sand.
Exactly. Now, one last thought that really resonated with me is his advice on not diversifying out of winners too quickly.
Meaning?
It's easy to get caught up in the hype of the next big thing or let fear drive your decisions. But sometimes the best move is to stay the course and let your winners run.
Sometimes the simplest strategies are the most effective.
Right. It's a reminder to trust your research, have conviction, and be patient.
The market is a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Those who can stick it out often come out on top.
It's all about playing the long game. And when you look at everything Lee's talked about, it really paints a picture of a future full of possibilities, but also some big unknowns.
A lot to be excited about, but also a lot to be cautious of.
Exactly. We've got the rise of AI, the potential for the U.S. to embrace Bitcoin in a big way, the ongoing situation with China, and of course, we can't forget about that national debt looming over everything.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is. But as investors, it's on us to stay informed and adaptable. We've got to be willing to embrace new ideas, but also manage risk carefully.
And never stop learning.
Absolutely. The world of finance is constantly changing. If you're not learning, you're falling behind.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into Tom Lee's predictions. It's been a fascinating conversation.
It really has a lot of food for thought.
And hopefully it's given our listeners a better understanding of the forces that play in the market and what they might mean for their own investments. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the world of finance and investing. Until then, stay informed, stay curious, and as always, happy investing.
Goodbye.